Well, good morning, Santa Clarita. Welcome in. It's good to have you. You are listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 AM. This is SCVI and I Lead Schools Eye on the Valley. I am Matt Watson. Welcome back. It is good to have you. Yes, we are joining you here like we do every Friday morning from 8 to 10 a.m. That's right. You know, when you hear my voice, that weekend is just around the corner. And I hope you've got plans this weekend. We are full swing holidays, and this is the last full weekend before that holiday. And we learned in trivia last week with Big T that tomorrow is set to be the heaviest shopping day of the year. So you may be out there getting ready to get your shopping done, but it is a happy, cool, crisp Friday morning out there. It's a beautiful morning in the valley. Once again, happy Hanukkah to you. The last time we talked, it was the first day of Hanukkah, and tonight marks the end of the holiday. I hope you've enjoyed. It's a celebration nearly 2,200 years strong, and now Christmas, as I said, is just about a week out. And so how are you doing on your shopping? Man, I am behind. I got to start banging Amazon hard. I got to get out there and support our small businesses and take care of my loved ones. I may have to go with, I don't know, maybe I'll give it to you next time I see you. Because, you know, that'll cover about 95% of the people that I'm buying gifts for. So we'll see. Today, we also celebrate some of those minor holidays. You know, I love celebrating a good holiday and even an obscure one. Today we celebrate National Twin Day. Check this one out, Patty, National Suckling Pig Day is today. Now, this next one, Engineer Andrew, Engineer Patty, and I am celebrating National Ugly Christmas Sweater Day. And
Ayo.
yeah, that is ugly, Patty. And it is National Underdog Day. So, yeah, everybody loves an underdog. So whatever, wherever, and however, and whenever you celebrate, it's going to be a great day. You know, today we've got a great show as well. We welcome in Tess Simgen and Elena Galvez from the Santa Clarita Valley International Program in Sister City, Santa Clarita. This is an exciting program that brings so much to our city. We'll meet Tess and Elena in just a minute. And as we always do, we'll be checking in with my big brother, Big T, at the bottom of the hour. Last week he brought us some trivia, and I absolutely smoked Engineer Patty. So we'll see if he can redeem himself today. And who knows, maybe Engineer Andrew will come in and join us and try to balance things out a little bit. In hour number 2, we've got our show's official educational consultant and K-12 guru, Renee Marshall. If you remember, Renee was on the show quite a bit last spring as we were trying to figure out what's what in education. We're going to be talking to her about where we're at with our kids now, our campuses, the latest in education in the Valley and across the state. But first, like I said, have you heard of SCVIP? No, I am not talking about SCVI. SCVI is that innovative, free public charter school on the west end of the Valley, open for anyone in kindergarten through high school. But SCVIP is the Santa Clarita Valley International Program, which brings the world to Santa Clarita and Santa Clarita to the world. SCVIP is the arm of our city that administers Sister Cities Santa Clarita. That's right. Did you know that we have not just one, we have more than one sister city around the world? And this morning we are joined by Tess Simgen, the outgoing 2-term president of SCVIP. She will soon take over as the treasurer of the board. She also works for the city as a human services supervisor. And turning the SCVIP checkbook over to Tess is the outgoing treasurer of the board and newly elected vice president, Elena Galvez. Elena also works for the city as Santa Clarita's project manager. Just this May, Elena was also named to the board of directors of Sister Cities International of Southern California. Elena, Tess, welcome to Eye on the Valley.
Good morning, Matt, and thank you.
It's good
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Of course, it's good to have you. First of all, tell us a little bit about yourselves. How long have you lived in Santa Clarita? What do you do for the city? Elena, let's start with you. How long have you lived in the area, and what do you do for the city?
Well, I'll start with how long I've been working for the city because I don't live in Santa Clarita.
Oh, okay. I apologize.
However, you learned something new.
Right.
However, I've been working in Santa Clarita for the city for over 20 years.
Oh, wow.
So actually, I should correct myself. I do live there. I'm there Monday through Friday. and sometimes on weekends.
Nice.
um, but definitely, I'm a long-term city employee, very invested in our community, of course, with all the time that I spend there, and have been fortunate enough to work in a number of projects throughout my years in the city. Currently, I'm a project manager, and I get to work on a variety of projects for our community and do some community outreach, and I'm also liaison to the Santa Clarita Sister Cities program.
Yeah. And what about you, Tess?
Hi, I'm a Santa Clarita resident. I've been here. We moved here in '94, right
Okay.
after the earthquake. We moved from the valley. I've been with the city for 17, going on 18 years now. So I'm right behind Elena. I manage our volunteer program for the city. Do you know that? Well, except for this year, which has been a very challenging year,
Sure.
and an uncommon year. We've had about 5,000 or so volunteers every year who help out with city projects and events. So we're lucky in this community to have such selfless and giving residents. So
Absolutely.
that's why I love my job. I get to meet all these people and work with them.
That is exciting. Yeah, I know our community is very active and constantly giving back, but I had no idea you administer over 5,000 volunteers each year. That's amazing. So you're here
It,
today to talk about SCVIP. Tell me a little bit about the organization, maybe when and why it was founded.
Yes, so Santa Clarita Valley International Program, also the Santa Clarita Sister Cities Program, was actually founded by our former mayor, Carl Boyer. And a little bit, I don't even think I need to say much about Carl because I think this community knows him well, but certainly was a community leader, a humanitarian, also a founder of the city. He was involved in the formation committee for the formation of the city of Santa Clarita. And he was also a teacher and a world traveler, and I really mean world traveler, not your typical places. And his humanitarian and traveling really led him to establish the Santa Clarita Valley International Program. We're very fortunate that he did this. He truly believed in connecting Santa Clarita residents with other parts of the world, and in expanding. I actually like the way you said it, Matt. Bringing the world to Santa Clarita and Santa Clarita to the world. I mean, he truly believed in that. And he's the one that started Sister Cities in Santa Clarita, or Santa Clarita Valley International Program.
That is terrific. So what is SCVIP and Sister Cities Santa Clarita? What do you do? What is it that you're responsible for? How do you bring, I guess, the world to Santa Clarita?
We do. We have a variety of projects that we currently work on, that we've worked on over the year. But basically, it boils down to we're really trying to foster international partnerships between Santa Clarita and cities abroad. We are promoting mutual understanding, friendship, and cooperation through our people-to-people programs. And the programs are a variety of programs and exchanges, which I can jump into details now, or we'll probably just dive into them with a couple of other questions as well. So I won't get too far into these programs yet. Our vision is very simple. It's really to have a community that promotes peace and cultural understanding through our citizens in Santa Clarita.
Well, fantastic. And so I'm sure most of our listeners have heard of the Sister Cities program. This city is a sister city to that city, and different cities have relationships around the world. What's the purpose of a sister city relationship? What's kind of the purpose of two cities from different corners of the world hooking up and saying we want to develop a sister cities relationship?
Yeah. So the sister city relationships are very broad based. They're long term relationships between two communities, and they can include a wide range of programs. Usually, they're cultural, they're educational. They're maybe tied to some economic or personal enrichment. And in terms of the city of Santa Clarita, we have two sister cities, one in the Philippines and one in Ecuador. Our goal is to be able to, like I said, connect our community to our sister cities through a variety of programs to expose what we call citizen diplomacy. Our citizen diplomats are our community members. And our goal through these programs is to engage our community by being able to give them opportunities to travel abroad with some of our programs, to engage with cross-cultural activities, to create experiences, shared understanding through these meaningful people-to-people interactions. We've had students travel abroad with our programs, and they've had the opportunity to connect with other students, like I said, create interactions and friendships, and really gain an understanding of both community, politics from abroad.
I love that idea of citizen diplomacy. You know, I don't have to be an elected national official or work for the UN to be a diplomat for my nation or even my community, our small community here in Santa Clarita. Tess Simgen and Elena Galvez with SCVIP, the Santa Clarita Valley International Program. We're talking about our sister cities, and as Elena just mentioned, Santa Clarita has two sister cities in different parts of the world. Tena, Ecuador, and Sariaya in the Philippines. Ladies, why these two cities? What caused Santa Clarita to establish this special relationship with Sariaya in the Philippines and Tena, Ecuador?
Our first sister city is in Tena, Ecuador, and that started with Carl Boyer and Ken Polskamp, who is our former city manager. There was a relationship that was established with Tena, Ecuador, and that led to a sister city. The main focus for Ecuador at the time was humanitarian and cultural. Carl, like I said, our former founder, was also humanitarian. And he was involved in another organization, Healing the Children here in Santa Clarita, that involved medical care for children. So there was an opportunity to provide some humanitarian medical missions over in our sister city in Ecuador, in Tena. And that was Carl's focus. With his leadership, we did 8 or 9 medical missions, serving every mission at least 100 youth, 100 children were operated on with cleft lip and palate operations, burn operations, to a number of children that didn't have the means for these operations. And that was definitely life-changing to the recipients of the missions, but also very rewarding to all of the Santa Clarita residents, doctors, nurses, and medical and non-medical personnel that traveled on these medical missions and participated. And then on the cultural side, there's so much culture in Ecuador. Tena is right on the basin of the Amazon, and so there was an opportunity to also provide our residents to travel to Ecuador and explore the Amazon. It's beautiful. I have been fortunate to travel twice, and what you learn about our world and through the Amazon is pretty incredible.
It is, and coincidentally, actually, I've been to Tena a couple of times myself, and it's kind of that last city. It's the gateway to the Amazon rainforest there, and it just offers tremendous tourism opportunities, great whitewater rafting. It's a beautiful area of the world. So this is really cool. It provides us directly in Santa Clarita with that amazing cultural exchange, and then also tremendous opportunities for philanthropy to support some folks around the world that otherwise might not get the help they need. Now, Tess, I understand we've got these two sister cities, but then we've also got this other kind of interesting relationship of a friendship city. We're exploring like a friendship city relationship with a third city. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. Right now we're exploring a friendship city with Matsudo in Japan. They actually have reached out to us, and we've hosted a couple delegations from that city. They've been researching, wanting to find a city abroad, in the U.S. particularly, that they could partner with. And for some reason, they found us. They found us through the internet and found some similarities between our cities and reached out to us. So, as I said, we've hosted a couple of delegations from their cities. They're very interested. And we actually were planning to go visit them since they've been here, to visit them in 2020. But, of course, that didn't happen, and we all know why. But a friendship city is a little less informal than a sister city relationship. It's almost like, I'd like to look at it as like the dating phase, You're still trying to get to know each other, trying to see what works, what fits, if you like each other. So you go into that friendship city partnership or relationship. And then eventually, if all works out, then, we can be sister cities as well. So, yeah, we're very excited with having Matsudo as our first friendship city, and hopefully when we all get back to a somewhat normal, life again, we would be able to push through with that travel to Matsudo.
I love that analogy. You can send a delegation over there and figure out whether or not we'd like to put a ring on it, right?
Yes.
We're talking to Tess
Exactly.
Simgen and Elena Galvez with SCVIP, the Santa Clarita Valley International Program, and Santa Clarita Sister Cities. And even though we've been locked down most of the year, they've been pretty busy in 2020. We'll find out what they've been up to and what is next for SCVIP after this. You're listening to SCVI and iLead Schools Eye on the Valley. I am Matt Watson on your hometown station, KHTS.
Why did Mercedes-Benz of Valencia win the Dealer of Excellence Award in 2019?
Because we strive to provide the most outstanding sales experience.
Mercedes-Benz of Valencia COO Chris Paz.
We know you have high expectations. Our stellar team will meet and exceed your expectations. That's why we were named Mercedes Best of the Best, placing us in the top 10% of all Mercedes dealers nationwide.
Find out how you can lease a new Mercedes for unbelievably low monthly payments. Details at mbzvalencia.com.
This is Jerry Strati Goldman, owner here at KHTS Radio. I've been using Plumbing by Kirk for years, both personally and here at the station. From small issues like toilets running and clogged sinks to much bigger issues, Kirk Stinson has always been here for me. There's no one I trust more with my plumbing problems than Kirk and his team. Quick, reliable, and very reasonable prices. Call now for estimates on new drain installations, old drain replacements, and water heaters. 263-6519 or log on to plumbingbykirk.com.
Accidents happen, but rest assured Patterson's Collision Center is here to help. Patterson's is a family-owned and operated collision repair facility providing the Santa Clarita Valley with premium collision repairs. Patterson's prides itself on being the only California-certified green repair shop in all of Santa Clarita. They are insurance claim specialists and even offer payment plans for your deductible. For personalized, friendly service, visit pattersonscollisioncenter.com or call 294-1011 and let Patterson's Collision Center help ease your worries today.
Excellence isn't just a word, it is what we deliver. Vanguard Protection Group is committed to providing its clients with the highest echelon of protective services available. Our clients not only receive the security services they contract for, but also reports that are well-written, articulate, and thorough. Our patrol officers operate at the highest levels and have an impressive rapport with local law enforcement. With military, police, private policing, and courtroom experience, you can trust that we have the strength to deliver our promise of excellence. Contact Vanguard Protection by calling 661-753-3611 or visiting their website at vanguardprotectiongroup.com.
I'm Tamara Gurney, President and CEO of Mission Valley Bank, Santa Clarita Valley's local community business bank dedicated to supporting small businesses throughout our community. As a matter of fact, Mission Valley Bank made over 360 Paycheck Protection or PPP loans totaling over $72 million to local small businesses to help them navigate these challenging times. Our commitment to small businesses throughout our community will not waver as we look forward. On behalf of everyone at Mission Valley Bank, we're wishing you a happy holiday season.
The anticipation of having a baby brings much excitement and hundreds of decisions. When choosing where to have your baby, choose the best. Providence St. Joseph Medical Center. The new Women's Pavilion combines expertly trained medical staff with luxurious labor and delivery suites and the area's most advanced neonatal intensive care unit. You and your new baby will get the best start possible. For more information and a tour, call 1-888-HEALING. The road to healing leads to Providence.
98.1 FM and AM 1220, the community's choice.
Thank you, KHTS, for keeping me posted with the latest on COVID-19.
And welcome back. You are listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 AM. This is SCVI and iLead Schools Eye on the Valley, and I am your host, Matt Watson. We're joined this morning by Tess Simgen and Elena Galvez from SCVIP, the Santa Clarita Valley International Program, and Santa Clarita Sister Cities. Ladies, as I mentioned before the break, that even though 2020 has been rough, and you did have some important events that were canceled. I think Tess mentioned that a delegation was set to head on over to our Friendship Cities Matsudo for 2020. We had to cancel that. There was a couple other things that needed to be canceled or postponed. But you didn't just shut it down, and that would have been probably the easiest thing. Oh, pandemic, let's shut it down for the year. But you didn't do that. SCVIP has still remained rather active and actually got quite a bit done this year. Can you talk a little bit about what you accomplished in 2020?
Sure, that'll be great. We had a couple months beginning of the year where we were able to do some stuff, with people around us. So late in 2019, we launched the Dollars for Desks campaign where we are raising funds. We're raising money to buy desks, school desks, for students in Sariaya, Philippines. Apparently, there are, years ago, maybe 3 years ago, we built a classroom there. We provided funds to build a classroom. And now we're finding out that the students don't necessarily have school desks. Some of them have to sit on the floor while they're in their classroom, or they bring a chair from home, or they use those plastic party chairs. Uh-huh. So it's not really very conducive to learning when you're in school, 6-7 hours a day. So we ended last year trying to raise funds for these desks. We called it the Dollars for Desks campaign, and started the year off with that project as well. And in January, we had the 3-hour Zumba-thon fundraiser where, this energetic Zumba dancers did a Zumba-thon to raise funds. Nice. This was spearheaded by our board member, Jocelyn Reyes. And again, the money was supposed to go for those desks. And then we were planning to do our charity hike, our first ever charity hike, which hopefully Elena can talk a little bit more about it later. And it was set to be held in March, and 2 days before that event day, the world shut down, so we had to postpone that. But a lot of planning and logistics and all that went into that event. Prior to the world closing down as well, we hosted the Young Authors and Artists Showcase.
Yes.
This is a traveling exhibit from Sister Cities International, and I believe this is our third year hosting this. It's an international contest where the winners and the finalists do a year-round tour in different communities and cities around the U.S. So we hosted that in February, and luckily for us, too, we were able to highlight and showcase students from, I don't want to mess up the school, but one of our high school students was actually was actually chosen as a national finalist. So we had her essay in a big poster board, and it was part of this exhibit. So right after we had that exhibit at the Newhall Library, we had to close down. But that didn't deter us from reaching out to our schools and our local students to submit their entries for the 2020 Young Authors and Artists Showcase. And just to give you a brief background, well, I said it's an international and a national showcase where students from different sister cities organizations all over, they submit an essay, a poem, an artwork, or a photography, and they compete among each other. And then Sister Cities International, they submit our local choices get submitted to Sister Cities International in Washington, D.C. So out of those 2020 entries, we got another 2 finalists from our local students. Wow. We had an art finalist and an essay finalist. So we are really very proud of our students, and we're happy that despite COVID-19, we were able to push through with this program and, at the end, gain 2 more national finalists. And since we've been doing this program actively, I believe we started in 2013, we've actually had 1 national winner, and the national winners get $1,000 from Sister Cities International. We've had 1 international finalist from our sister city in Sariaya, and we've had 4 national finalists. So we're very proud of our students who, take the time to make an entry and submit it to us so that we can submit it to Sister Cities International. What else did we do? Because we were talking about COVID-19, we also helped our sister cities in Sariaya and in Tena and gave them some relief funds so that they could buy, staples, food for those who were very adversely affected by COVID-19. They could buy some rice or, canned foods to help some of their citizens. So we were able to provide that help to our 2 sister cities. We continued our conversation with Matsudo so that, eventually we would be able to really push through with our friendship city relationship with them. What else did we do, Elena?
It sounds like you guys were really active.
I know. It's like this is all, while we were in Shate, we were closed down. So
right, for the last 9 months. So we were only open for a couple of months. You still got a lot done. You're doing a lot to support our sister cities in Tena, Ecuador, and Sariaya, Philippines, and grow these relationships, support them during an extremely challenging time around the world. But it brings up an interesting question. How are these projects funded? If you're sending food and supplies, purchasing desks, things like that. Are these projects funded through city funding mechanisms?
Matt, great question. What I did mention at the beginning is that the Santa Clarita Sister Cities program, Santa Clarita Valley International Program, is a nonprofit organization. As a nonprofit organization, we do what all nonprofits do: is we raise funds. So we try to have fun raising money for all of our projects. In fact, the first Sister Cities charity hike that Tess mentioned that we were going to have in March was one of our fundraising programs. And aside from the hike that we were going to do this year, other fundraising events that we've done in the past, we've had musical concerts at the COC Performing Arts Center. We've had two, which we've called Journey Through Latin America, where we've provided music, entertainment, international music and entertainment through Latin America. And both of these have been extremely successful, and we've been able to raise funding for our programs. In the past, we've also done golf tournaments and, just a variety of other programs that and events that we put together to raise funds. So yeah, it's all money that we raise. We accept donations as well, and we work with other partners within the city, with schools and other nonprofits who have partnered with us as well.
That is great. So it's all targeted philanthropy, money specifically raised and donated by people in our community for these programs, no tax dollars. That is amazing. Now, Elena, we've only got about one more minute, but I did want you to talk about an event that's coming up here real soon, a great opportunity for the youth, specifically maybe junior high, high school, college-level youth in our community. Can you tell us about the Youth Leadership Summit coming up?
Yes. So we have a California Youth Leadership Summit that is focused on, it's actually being put together by youth and young professionals. The focus is that the summit will be for all California students and, like I said, young professionals. And it'll be a virtual summit that's going to be an engaging online discussion on topics that actually were identified by youth. So it's a leadership for youth provided by youth. It's the California Youth Leadership Summit. The theme is peace, kindness, and cooperation. It will take place on February 6th. Like I said, virtually. It will be free to all students and adults if they're interested. But like I said, we're really excited about it. This, like I said, will be led by youth and young professionals. The panels will all be made up of high school or college age students. The focus is for them to be able to discuss topics of interest to our youth that are relevant. Topics selected are climate change and sustainability, world peace and cooperation, racial equity and gender equity, and coping with the pandemic. So we're encouraging and inviting all of our youth to look into this, maybe apply to be a panelist or definitely register to attend. And they can do so by visiting the website, which is www.californiasummit.org. And this is being put together by the Sister Cities International Southern California and Northern California chapters.
Fantastic. So that is californiasummit.org, the Youth Leadership Summit sponsored by Southern California and Northern California Sister Cities program. If you're interested in more information about the local SCVIP and Santa Clarita Sister Cities programs, you can go to scvipsantaclarita.org, scvipsantaclarita.org. Tess Simgen, Elena Galvez work with the city of Santa Clarita international program and sister cities, Santa Clarita. They're bringing the world to Santa Clarita and Santa Clarita to the world. Ladies, thank you so much for joining me this morning. Have a great holiday.
Thank you.
You too.
When we come back, Big T's 5 Minutes of Fame. It's going to be a lot of fun. Stick around. I'm Matt Watson on SCVI and I Lead Schools. Eye on the Valley on your hometown station, KHTS.
I'm Tamara Gurney, President and CEO of Mission Valley Bank. I'm here today to let you know that Mission Valley Bank has relocated our Center Point branch office. The new facility is 26701 McBean Parkway, directly across the street from the town center. We're very excited about this new modern and updated branch facility that we think is better situated to serve our growing number of small business clients. On behalf of myself and the entire Mission Valley Bank team, we're wishing you a very happy holiday season.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, inventor of MyPillow. For a limited time, you can get a queen-size premium MyPillow for the lowest price ever. Regularly $69.98, now only $29.98. MyPillow is patented and adjusts to any sleep position. It's washable and dryable, comes with a 10-year warranty, and 100% made in the USA. I'm also giving you deep discounts on all my MyPillow products, including my bed sheets, mattress toppers, and bath towels. That's $29.98 for a queen-size premium MyPillow and deep discounts on all my MyPillow products. Not only are you getting the lowest prices ever, but they're going to make the best Christmas gifts ever. Buy now and I'll extend my 60-day money-back guarantee to March 1st, 2021.
Go to MyPillow.com and use the promo code KHTS or call 800-973-3927 and use the promo code KHTS. That's 800-973-3927 or go to MyPillow.com and use the promo code KHTS.
Experience Frontier Toyota's all-new hot and exciting Toyota lineup. Serving the Santa Clarita Valley for over 30 years. Frontier Toyota, the Camry, Corolla, and Prius Kings. They're tops in Tacoma and Tundra trucks. Frontier Toyota, the new way of car buying. Shop from home at frontiertoyota.com or visit their showroom at Valencia and Creekside. Discover a whole new car buying experience with your friends at Frontier Toyota.
Step into a hot shower or slip on a warm t-shirt fresh from the dryer, and you can feel the comfort natural gas gives us every day. For over 100 years, Southern California Gas Company has provided safe, reliable natural gas service. It warms our homes, powers cleaner vehicles, and cooks our food at a fraction of the cost of other energy sources with less environmental impact, today and for decades to come. Natural gas, part of the clean energy solution. Learn more at SoCalGas.com. Search solution.
Welcome to Dunkin'. There are 2 Dunkin' locations in the SCV. Both locations have outdoor seating, carry-out service, and delivery with Postmates, Grubhub, and Uber Eats. Use the Dunkin' app to order and accumulate points. The Canyon Country location on Sierra Highway near Via Princesa has drive-through service and is open till 7 p.m. The Bouquet Canyon location just off New Hall Ranch Road has curbside service and is now open till 7 p.m. The Santa Clarita Valley runs on Dunkin'.
98.1 FM and AM 1220.
So much coronavirus info out there. Thank you, KHTS, for keeping it local and easy to understand.
Live and local.
Welcome back. You're listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 AM. This is Matt Watson, and you're listening to SCVI and I Lead Schools, Eye on the Valley. And it is time. That's right. You've been waiting all week for it. It is time for Big T's 5 Minutes of Fame. And since it's the holiday season and I'm feeling generous, we're going to give Big T 10 minutes today.
Ooh!
And now, Big T, do not implore him for compassion. Big T, do not beg him for forgiveness. Big T, do not ask him for mercy. Let's face it, you can't Big T anything. And if you recognize that reference, isn't it time that we all watch that movie again? What an amazing movie. This is Mom's favorite segment of Eye on the Valley. This is Big T. Welcome back, brother man.
Thank you. History of the World is fantastic. Now I'm going to have to watch it again this weekend.
Right.
Let's face it, you can't talk him out of anything.
Mel Brooks is amazing.
How you boys doing?
Doing great.
Doing good, sir.
Good. We can't entice Andrew in there, huh? Is producer Sarah going to keep track?
Oh, yeah. Hey, producer Sarah, can you keep score on us today? I think she's got it. She's on top of everything.
All right. So we got some trivia, we got some fun facts mixed in, a little bit of everything, a little bit of Christmas, a little bit of music. So we'll kick it off.
Very good.
Which Led Zeppelin song?
Well, hang on. If you're in your car,
we got to go on the rules.
Well, no, Patty and I know the rules.
No, we know the rules.
We got our hands on the buzzer, but if you're in your car listening, keep one hand on the wheel, the other hand on your buzzer. See if you can buzz in before we do, and keep score. All right. Sister Sarah is on. Sister Sarah. Producer Sarah. Sister, was it? I don't know. Okay. Led Zeppelin.
Which Led Zeppelin song was the band's only top 10 hit?
Patty.
Patty.
Cashmere?
No.
Matt?
Matt?
You got to go Stairway, right?
No, not Stairway.
Okay.
One more quick guess?
Patty, was it the Immigrant Song?
No, another good guess, Patty. I'm shocked you know you're Zeppelin, Patty. I love it.
I do like Zeppelin.
I'm proud of him. Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm out. What's up?
How about Whole Lot of Love? Diggum Frog is the mascot for what brand of cereal?
Oh,
Matt.
Sugar Corn Pops, and I'm hitting the wrong buzzer this morning.
It is not Sugar Corn Pops.
It's No, I know these. Oh, goodness me. I know this.
Patty, how about Honey Smacks?
That's what it is.
Honey Smacks.
As a guy that eats cereal a lot.
What fraction of the Earth is the Northern Hemisphere?
Matt, 1/2.
Matt.
Hitting the wrong buzzer again. 1/2.
Correct, 50%. What big star was kicked off the set of Romper Room for his bad behavior?
Ooh. Frogger. Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yes, it was actually.
I would have never gotten that because I'm lost on that one.
I pulled that one out of my ear.
Good pull. In which month in 1945 was the atom bomb dropped on Hiroshima?
Ooh, Frogger.
June. No, a little later.
1 in 12 shot. Oh, come on.
I'm gonna Patty. August.
August is correct.
Woohoo! On the board, baby. Let's go.
Producer
Christmas.
Sarah, that's only half a point for Patty. He had a lot of help on that one.
Christmas. How many reindeer are featured in the poem "'Twas the Night Before Christmas"?
Frogger.
12. No.
Patty. 11.
Patty. No. 8. Rudolph was not in there.
Ah, shoot. It was 12 apostles. I get my apostles and my reindeer mixed up.
Little fun fact alert. Some Rudolph fun facts. We are the Rudolph Show of Record.
Yes, we are.
Rudolph was created for a department store ad in 1939. Remember the old store Montgomery Ward's?
I do.
You could buy the thickest jeans there ever. They commissioned one of their catalog copyrights, John May, to dream up a character for their coloring books for the department store.
Oh, nice.
That Christmas, they handed out 2.5 million coloring books alone, and Rudolph was launched.
Whoa. And little known fact, did you know that Rudolph's professional agent was Burl Ives?
Yes. Yes. It's such a sharp-looking vest that Snowman had on.
Oh, my.
Who played George Bailey in the Christmas classic It's a Wonderful Life? Frogger.
Jimmy Stewart.
Jimmy Stewart. The famed Hall of Mirrors is located in what French palace?
Ooh. Frogger. Versailles.
That is correct. All right, some TV. What character on Cheers would say, if you can't say something nice, say it about Diane?
Frogger. That was Rhea Perlman's character, Carla.
That is Carla, correct.
Yeah.
Matt, this has got you all over it. Patty, you too, it's football.
Yep.
Who caught football's immaculate reception?
Frogger.
Oh.
Franco Harris.
Franco Harris.
Beat me to it. That's true.
Maddie, this is just for you. Some Steelers fun facts. How's that?
Okay.
Do you know that the Steelers were originally purchased in 1933 by the Rooney family? How'd they get the money? They won it in a horse racing bet.
Nice.
Art Rooney Sr., in 1933, he paid $2,500 for the Pittsburgh Pirates and changed the name to Steelers. He gained that money at a horse track. In the first race, he bet $8,000 on an 8-1 long shot. He ended up winning the next 7 horses in a row, and they say that he walked away with the biggest pull ever. He walked away with $380,000 in the 30s, the equivalent of $1.5 million today.
Wow.
In 1936, he won
I feel
another.
like my man might have had a tip or two.
You think? In 1936, he won another close to $400,000 to help bail the team out when they needed it. Maybe another tip or two. The Rooney family owned horses up until the 80s. They bought a racetrack up in upstate New York, and they still run it to this day.
Really? All right. Rooney's a great football family, legendary football family.
Very much so.
Legendary horse bettors.
Well, if you're good at something, keep going back to it.
They say he's won close to $4 million playing ponies.
Wow.
What actor has appeared in Funny People, Superbad, and Pineapple Express?
Oh, Patty. Is it Christopher Mintz-Plaza?
No. Yeah. Andrew's screaming back there. Seth Rogen.
Oh, it was either him or the other one.
Right.
Right. I was going with the other one.
Seth Rogen.
Haagen-Dazs comes from what country?
Ooh.
Patty.
Germany.
No.
Frogger, Denmark.
No.
Okay.
Good old USA.
Okay.
Oh. Funny, isn't
I
that?
was gonna say, I thought it came from Albertsons.
Right. What large aquatic rodent can bring down a tree?
Frogger, beaver.
Frogger, it's a beaver. That is correct.
Dang it.
It's my next door neighbor.
What two fruits flavors does the liquor Southern Comfort make up?
Say that again.
What two fruits flavor is in the liquor Southern Comfort?
Frogger. I'm going peach and orange.
Good pull, Frogger.
Wow.
The TV character
This ain't
Don
coffee in
Diego.
this cup.
Right. The TV character Don Diego de la Vega is better known as what?
TV character. Frogger.
Frogger.
Is he the most interesting man in the world?
No, he's not. Good
I
guess,
prefer
though.
Dos Equis.
His character actually launched Batman.
Oh.
Often called the Gay Blade.
Well, it's Patty's turn. I would already wait in.
I got nothing.
Zorro.
Yep.
Hey, Big T, I think we're getting to the end of it a little bit right here.
Oh yeah, we got about a minute left, Big T.
All right. So quickly, what Disney animated film the Disney animated film Bambi? What was the skunk's name?
Frogger. Flower.
Flower was the skunk's name.
Yes.
Last one I've got for you.
All right.
What radio star?
Patty.
Was Patty?
Let
me give you the rest of the question. What radio star was born on December 19th, 1971?
Well, isn't that our good old friend Matt Watson?
Patty with the win.
Woohoo! Ultimate.
Patty, happy birthday.
Happy
for all
birthday,
you listeners out
Matt.
there. He's still under 50. He's single. He's successful, and he's good looking. And he comes from a good family.
Right?
Humble family.
Yeah, very humble. All right, Big T, we got to get out of here. Thanks for joining us. Don't go away. When we come back, we've got our show's official educational consultant and K-12 expert, Renee Marshall. I'm Matt Watson, and you're listening to SCVI and I Lead Schools Eye on the Valley on your hometown station, KHTS.
Once heart attack symptoms
Oh, I know. We
begin,
planned that out.
delaying treatment increases the risk of heart damage, disability, and even death. Time is critical. Leading the Valley with the most advanced digital technology and treatment times that beat national best practice goals, Providence offers emergency coronary angioplasty and stenting performed by highly trained board-certified cardiologists. For more information, call 1-888-HEALING. The road to healing leads to Providence.
KHTS strives to give the Santa Clarita Valley all the information they need. And when our computers aren't working the way they should, we call Resurgence, your true source for IT. Resurgence provides outstanding customer service while also providing the highest technical ability. They strive to do what's best to improve and protect your business. For more information on Resurgence, call 349-4114 or visit resurgenceit.com.
Donahoe, Young & Williams is your award-winning go-to law firm for all real estate matters, including the changing legal landscape due to COVID-19. In addition, Donahoe, Young & Williams can help you create an estate plan that accomplishes your wishes, protects you and your family, and avoids time-consuming and expensive California probate. If you've been financially devastated by the pandemic, Donahoe, Young & Williams can help with debt negotiation and, when needed, bankruptcy under Chapters 7, 11, and 13. Visit Taylor Williams at dywlaw.com.
This holiday music is brought to you by Providence Holy Cross Medical Center, your community health partner. To learn more about their award-winning care, call 1-888-HEALING or visit online at providence.org/holycross.
KHTS AM 1220 and 98.1 FM Santa Clarita. It's 9 o'clock.
Capitol Hill.
Time for national news on
The deadline is
KHTS.
tonight to avoid a government shutdown, but parallel talks continue on both the COVID relief bill and the larger spending plan. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell says it's time for action.
It doesn't help struggling Americans keep their jobs or endure unemployment or pay their rent or get vaccines any faster to keep hearing that we're having good discussions.
But the details on COVID relief are still not finished. The basic framework is focusing on help for small businesses, enhanced unemployment assistance, and another round of stimulus checks. A second COVID vaccine could be approved as soon as today in the U.S. This morning, the first one got some high-profile attention, aiming to boost public confidence. Fox's Rachel Sutherland has this live.
Lisa, Vice President Mike Pence and the Second Lady got the vaccine at the White House.
Aaron and I wanted to step forward and take this vaccine to assure the American people that while we cut red tape, we cut no corners.
The vice president called the vaccine a medical miracle that will mark the beginning of the end of the coronavirus pandemic. Surgeon General Jerome Powell also got a shot during the televised event. President-elect Joe Biden could get his dose next week. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell say they'll get vaccinated over the next few days. Lisa?
Thanks, Rachel. President Trump thanking FedEx and UPS for driving through snow to keep this week's vaccine deliveries rolling. He's also been tweeting again about the election, urging Georgia's governor to call a special session. Just getting word that a Chinese drone maker, DJI, is one of dozens of new additions to a U.S. economic blacklist, citing allegations against China of wide-scale human rights abuses. This from a government filing. America is listening to Fox News.
I hate Tom's Tulip Shop. It just smells so flowery. Like we get it, you're a flower shop. You don't need to remind us.
No matter how hard you work for your small business, online reviewers will find something to complain about.
I needed a fake plant. They don't sell fake plants. Thanks for nothing, Tom.
And while Progressive can't save you from these trolls, we can help you save money on commercial, auto, and business insurance.
Then he says, have a great day. I'll decide what kind of day to have.
Get a quote online today at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliated and third-party insurers.
Dell Technologies' end-of-year sale is the perfect time to upgrade tech for your business. Save big on the latest computers powered by Intel Core processors for your small business. And don't forget to shop servers, storage, and thousands of top brand electronics, all with free shipping. Call a Dell Technologies advisor who can help you find the right tech for your business needs at 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
President-elect Joe Biden says he's not worried about a federal probe of his son Hunter's taxes or the Republican calls for a special counsel over his past business dealings.
Fox has obtained more messages from Hunter's former business associates. They appear to be trying to leverage Hunter's family for their business. Quote, let's get the company set up, then tell H and family the huge stakes and get Joe involved. He strengthens our USP to Chinese as it looks like a true family business. A USP in business typically stands for unique selling proposition or unique selling point. A source tells Fox USP could also mean U.S. persons. These messages are from 2017, shortly after former Vice President Joe Biden left the vice presidency.
Fox's Rich Edson at the State Department. Hunter and his business partners, including his uncle James Biden, were trying to set up a joint venture with a Chinese energy and finance company. Today marks 48 years since the car crash that seriously injured Hunter and his brother Beau when they were kids, killing their sister and their mom, Joe Biden's first wife. Earlier today, the president-elect and future First Lady attending Mass at the church in Delaware, where his first wife and baby daughter are buried. A college football conference title game gets COVID canceled for 2 top 25 teams.
A positive COVID-19 test within the Coastal Carolina football program has forced the Sun Belt Conference to cancel Saturday's championship between the number 12 in the nation Chanticleers and 19th-ranked Louisiana. As a result of contact tracing, an entire position group will not be available for undefeated Coastal Carolina. The Sun Belt instead naming Coastal Carolina and Louisiana co-champions of the conference. In a statement, Sun Belt Commissioner Keith Gill saying, "We are very disappointed that the championship game cannot be played, but we are so proud of all of the players and staff members and their hard work during this truly challenging season." Matt Napolitano, Fox News.
Stocks are lower right now. The Dow is down 164 points, still over 30K. I'm Lisa Brady. This is Fox News.
I'm Elizabeth McDonald, and this is the Fox Business Report.
The major averages turned lower after opening at records. Investors are looking at COVID-19 outbreaks, but also a possible stimulus package. Options and futures are expiring today. The Conference Board's leading economic index for November continued to show improvement, but at a weaker pace than recent months, a sign the economic recovery may be slowing. FedEx is reporting earnings that more than doubled in the recent quarter from a year ago. Even though it lost Amazon as a client, FedEx shares are losing ground anyway because it isn't offering a forecast for its business. Tesla joins the S&P 500 after today's market close. Office furniture company Steelcase saw its profit and sales decline in the recent quarter. Steelcase is dealing with weaker business in the pandemic. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Ginny Cosola, invested in you.
At home with Robert, retired burglar and family man.
Carolers! That's the holiday spirit. Speaking of which, Simply Safe Home Security is having a huge holiday sale. Right now, you can get 35% off the new system and a free camera at simplysafe.com/holiday. That's 35% off the system U.S. News named the best of 2020. Simply Safe protects your whole home 24/7 with monitoring by professionals. The sale ends soon, so go to simplysafe.com/holiday for 35% off and a free camera today.
At iLead Agua Dulce, we believe the most important thing a child can learn in school is who they are. Life's real tests are never standardized, which is why we've developed an individualized curriculum that values exploration, innovation, and creativity. As our learners grow, so do we. Our tuition-free charter school is currently enrolling grades TK through 8, and we've adapted to the needs of today by expanding our play-based social-emotional learning to the online world. With inspiring discovery at the core of every experience, your young learner won't miss a beat with our current distance learning model. We hope you will become part of our school community so that you can enjoy iLead Agua Dulce's beautiful indoor and outdoor campus for hands-on inspiration, including a hands-on makery, an art studio, garden beds, a greenhouse, and a technology-based exploratorium. To learn more about iLead Agua Dulce and our distance learning program, visit iLeadAguaDulce.org. We're enrolling now. iLead Schools, free to think, inspired to lead.
Excellence isn't just a word, it is what we deliver. Vanguard Protection Group is committed to providing its clients with the highest echelon of protective services available. Our clients not only receive the security services they contract for, but also reports that are well-written, articulate, and thorough. Our patrol officers operate at the highest levels and have an impressive rapport with local law enforcement. With military, police, private policing, and courtroom experience, you can trust that we have the strength to deliver our promise of excellence. Contact Vanguard Protection by calling 661-753-3611 or visiting their website at vanguardprotectiongroup.com.
Some schools go online. Others are already built for it. iLead Online is a tuition-free public charter school that uses digital resources and tools to support a whole child-focused K-12 education. At iLead Online, we empower each child to craft a learning plan that they're excited about, one that complements their passions and pursuits with self-directed, STEAM-focused projects to stimulate their development in all areas. Yes, your child will receive a robust education. iLead Online is WASC accredited and offers UC, A through G, and NCAA approved courses that will prepare your child for success in college and beyond. But more than that, they'll explore what makes them who they are through interest-based electives and social-emotional learning that fully equip them to be 21st century leaders. iLead Online also offers online adventures for grades K through 5 in a project-based, all-inclusive curriculum shipped straight to your home. We serve Los Angeles, Orange, Ventura, San Bernardino, and Kern counties, and we are currently enrolling grades K through 12. For more information or to enroll now, visit iLeadOnline.org. iLead Schools, free to think, inspired to lead.
Hey there, it's Tori with your hometown station weather. Beautiful day today, sunny skies, highs in the mid-60s with a wind advisory posted. Overnight lows in the mid-40s. If you're looking for a great way to spend a safe and festive evening, go to Real Life Church Valencia's Christmas drive-thru, December 18th and 19th. Santa and his reindeer, the Grinch, Disney's Anna will all be there. For more information, visit reallifechurch.org.
98.1 FM and AM 1220.
The following is sponsored programming and does not necessarily reflect the views or opinions of KHTS or its ownership.
Welcome back. You're listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 on the AM side. This is Matt Watson, your host, and you are listening to SCVI and I Lead Schools Eye on the Valley. My next guest is one of my only guests who also actively monitors the Facebook Live feed while she's on the show. I don't know how she does it. I don't have time to do it, but I will do my best to keep up. I know producer Sarah is in there as well. So since she monitors that feed, you might want to, pop in a little question or a comment or a little tidbit of your own experience as we chat about K through 12 education. That's right. Renee Marshall, educational expert, consultant, and community leader, has quickly become renowned across the state of California for her deep understanding of a myriad of educational topics. She received her bachelor's in psychology and her master's in elementary education and teaching from UC Santa Cruz. She earned an additional master's in educational leadership and administration from CSUN. Renee has also been honored, she's been honored with tons of awards. Check this out. Renee has been honored with the Outstanding Educator Award, the PTA Golden Apple Service Award, the Santa Clarita Valley Mothers of Multiples Heart Award, and as one of Santa Clarita Valley's 40 Under 40. And this year, on the 10th anniversary of that award, she was named among the top 100 of all of the 40 Under 40s over the years. She is the recipient of the PTA Service Award and has been recognized as Castaic Middle School's Teacher of the Month and Castaic Union School District's Teacher of the Month. She's worked with the Santa Clarita Valley Education Foundation, the California Community College Teacher Preparation Programs, and locally at College of the Canyons. And she recently hosted, in partnership with the city of Santa Clarita, a webinar for parents called Balancing Home and School in a Zooming World. Renee, welcome back to Eye on the Valley.
Hey, good morning, Matt. It's great to be here today.
Oh, we always love having you. It's always good to talk to you, especially during these times. You know, you're so well connected with teachers and administrators and parents across our community. So let's just go ahead and start with a status check. I know a lot of us know what's going on with our schools because we've got kids in our schools, we've got friends that teach in our schools, but oftentimes it's good to check kind of a wider swath to see what everybody else's reality is. So we've been under this stay-at-home order for about 9 months now, but it feels like this fall semester was different than last spring, doesn't it? How would you compare how schools and families are operating now versus back in the spring?
I think there's a huge comparison, Matt, because, when everything flipped in March for us, in the field of education, we went into a crisis teaching mode.
Right.
And what I mean by crisis teaching is, suddenly we went from face-to-face to this virtual space literally over the weekend. And so the crisis teaching was, let's get everybody a device. Let's make sure people have hotspots. Let's make sure people have access. If you don't have access, let's make copies of packets and drop them off at your house, or you come by the school to pick them up. It was really like everybody was patching together, how do we finish the school year? How do we make sure the kids will be okay from March until June? But now we're in a very different time. We're in an intentional teaching time where everything, like teachers and administrators have been meticulously planning and searching for other resources and other innovative ways to teach children. So in spring, it was definitely crisis. Who's got what? Do you have what's needed? Can we make it till the end of the school year? But in fall, it's a very different mentality of, you know what? Now we're in this for the long haul. This wasn't like this temporary thing for a few months. We're now 9 months in, and we need to move from a surviving mode into a thriving mode. especially as we look at the numbers in LA County right now. We're not going back anytime soon. Right. Just last night, the Heart District sent out an email saying, I'm a parent in the Heart District, saying, hey, everybody, just want to let you know, based on our numbers in LA County, there's no way we're going face-to-face when we return on January 11th. We might go face-to-face at some point of the semester, but as of now, please prepare your kids to come back and be in that virtual space. So it's not plan A, but you know what, Matt? This isn't plan Z either. We're not at the very end of the barrel kind of thing right now. Right. We really need to be seeing the exciting things that are happening in the classroom. We need to, embrace when we hear our kids laughing or we hear our kids engaged, and we need to make sure that we go, wow, I heard you laughing during ASB today, or what happened in your science class? It sounded so interesting, and really get back into engaging our children about talking about what they're learning. They are learning. Maybe it's not like you and I learned, but you know what? Sure. Do we really want our children to be in the same education we had? Like, I'm not sure about how old you are, Matt, but I'm like 46 years old. You know what I mean? Education needs to change. It hasn't changed for a very long time. So this is an opportunity. Yeah, it's not great. I'm not saying that I don't want to pretend like I'm Pollyanna, you know what I mean? But at the same time, we really need to be looking at a lot of intentional things that are happening in the classroom and at our schools right now. And honestly, too, as this semester is wrapping, or this part of the year is wrapping, I'm really hoping that parents and children and teens are taking a minute to appreciate the teaching that's happened and saying thank you to our teachers and our educators and our administrators right now. It'd be a good time to fill their cups a little bit and say, wow, I know this wasn't plan A, but you're doing a good job. I really appreciate it. They need to hear that right now.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I was talking with Dr. Martyr from Facey and Henry Mayo last week about how here in the United States, oftentimes we're a lot better at the heart attack than we are the long haul of cancer. And I remember, You remember too, back in the spring when, let's face it, our COVID numbers here in Santa Clarita were pretty low and things seemed to be going okay. But everybody was all about everything that the teachers were doing and how hard they were working. And they were, just like everybody was delivering dinner every night to Henry Mayo. But now that things have gotten really scary and really critical out at our hospitals, and folks are even more on edge than ever before, it seems like we haven't really sustained that. It's understandable. It's tough to sustain, but you're absolutely right. Perfect opportunity. The holidays is a perfect opportunity to reach out to your teacher, to your school principal, and thank them for the way that they've shifted and moved into what Renee called the thrive mode. Speaking of which, you're in touch with a lot of teachers around the Valley, Renee. This time has been it's been rough on them. And I don't want to say that in exclusion to anyone else. It's been rough on all of us. But specifically when we talk about teachers, what are you hearing? How are teachers holding out?
I appreciate you asking this question, Matt, because I think it's really important to note, teachers are like the general population. So you literally have some teachers who cannot wait until they can get every student back to campus as soon as possible. And then you have other teachers right now that are scared for their health. They're scared for the health of their family, and they're scared for the health of their students. So you've got this really different group right now. It's not like this cohesive, everybody is in the same spot. You've got people in a lot of different areas and kind of different places. And so in terms of the general population, I've seen some ebb and flow, depending on what's happening. I live in Castaic. I can tell you this week and last week there's been some stress because there was a board meeting earlier this week where there was discussion about bringing K-2 back, come January, and they got the waiver. And so there's huge people that want to push them back. And then there's huge people that are scared, and teachers fall into both those categories. So right now, I think teachers are similar to our general population, where they're struggling as parents and they're struggling as workers right now. Even those of us who are not in education, I look at my husband and some of his colleagues, it's hard to be working entirely remote. And so I think really, one of the things that's so important right now is making sure that we are consistently staying like good, ethical, nice people. It's not the time to bash teachers. It's definitely not the time to do it publicly. And if people do it anonymously and publicly, that's just yucky. You know what I mean? And so we've seen a little bit of that recently, and we're all stressed. Everybody's stressed right now. but let's not push our stress onto somebody else. You know what I mean? Unnecessarily. Everybody is really doing the best that they can right now. And I'll be honest, the teachers who are struggling to an intense degree, they're looking at leaving the field.
Yeah.
So it's not like these people are going, if they're hating it, they're not going to stay on forever. We're actually anticipating more teacher retirements than we've seen. And we're also anticipating more challenges with teacher retention in the virtual space right now. So it's a good time to be nice to teachers if you have that capacity. And if you know one, even if you don't have kids, but your neighbor's a teacher or somebody across the street, say something.
Yeah.
It's a good time, and it kind of goes along with like healthcare workers and any of these people that are really consistently in it right now. I'm working from my office at my house. I choose when I want to go face to face. I'm not required to in what I do. And so I want to be compassionate towards those people who are showing up daily and doing, and going face to face, or those teachers that are working with our special ed students and our second language learners on campuses right now.
Right.
It's so important that we really make sure that we check everybody's pulse individually, because there is no one collective response right now.
Yeah.
It's individual per child, it's individual by adult, it's individual by teacher.
Yeah.
But we also choose our reactions, and so that's part of that. Let's own our reactions and be good with our reactions at this time.
You're absolutely right. You talk about your and my reality of we work from home pretty much every day, and there are people during the biggest spike that we've had that are going onto school campus to work with kids every day. You and I both worked with littles, and we're familiar with the personal hygiene habits of a 5-year-old, of a 6-year-old.
Oh my gosh,
And
Matt, I was a kindergarten teacher for 5 years. I know what it's like when they wipe snot on you, or that's just. I don't mean to be gross. Matt, I've been in a classroom once where a child was standing up getting a drink of water, and this is going to gross you out, but I'm going to tell it. He literally had a turd drop out of his pants while he was getting a drink of water.
Okay.
So you know what I can tell you? Anything can happen when you're a kindergarten teacher. I know that for sure.
Oh, well, I was going to tell you the story about the day that I got vomited on, but you trumped me. Oh, wow. So yeah, it's never time to bash teachers, and you're right. Yeah. I don't think anybody would say, how can I get back at my kid's teacher? But you're right. It comes from a place of stress, because parents are dealing with so much, and kids are struggling with a lot of different things. And I know you're in touch with a lot of families as well. What are you hearing? Can you articulate a little bit about what families and kids are going through? Because I know some folks are listening saying, yeah, I know it's been tough on teachers, but I've got 3-4 kids at home, and I'm trying to work, and my husband has to go into the office too, so he's not here to help me, or what have you. What are families and kids going through? What's the quality of education like right now?
I think things are really stressful, like you said, for everybody. And it's interesting how even in the different contexts, you have some families that are absolutely stressing and really struggling. And then you've got other families that are like, oh my gosh, I had no idea my child would do well in an online environment. So I think it's been, I'm working on this project right now with a group that focuses on equity, and we're looking at the concept of humanizing virtual learning. And so I reached out to some of my friends and colleagues to kind of do a survey about this. And I reached out to one parent in specific, and she wrote back to me and she said, Renee, I appreciate being included, but my kids are doing great. They're totally loving this environment. This has been, they're into it and they're thriving. And then I had another parent reach out to me, and she's like, I don't even think I can join this group, because the pain that my child is going through right now in special education is so significant. I don't think I'm going to be in a good space to contribute. So you see this huge spectrum in terms of where people are with their kids and their families. And one thing, personally, I was looking at some data yesterday from Los Angeles Unified School District, and I don't know the exact sample size of this. I'm going to be honest, and I asked the person, so hopefully I'll find out. But one of the things that was so incredibly concerning to me is they surveyed students in LA Unified, and 92% of the students surveyed said one of their biggest concerns about education right now is finding a quiet space where they can go to school.
Right.
So that's one of the things we need to think about. Yesterday I was on a walk with one of my kids, and I said, I want to point out these apartments in Castaic. They're not close to us, so I want to make sure you see them. And he goes, wow, I didn't realize how many people live in those. And I'm like, oh, there's hundreds of people. And as we were walking, I said, gosh, can you even imagine if you had to do all of your learning in the same space where I'm working and where your sister's going to school and when your dad's working? Imagine if all four of us were in the same space. Mm-hmm. And he looked at me, he goes, Mom, I can't even imagine. He goes, each of us have our own room with our own computer and our own supplies. He's like, I can't even imagine sitting in one space and trying to learn. So,
well, and let's not forget bandwidth that can handle all of us on at the same time, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And let's talk about when the winds come and, you know, like all these other variables, right? So I think it really needs to be like this individual check-in of how are you doing, you know, student A, student B, or person A, person B, not really as much of a collective right now. It's really kind of individualistic in terms of how people are experiencing this. But like I said, there's some people that are totally thriving and some children and families that are thriving. And then for the families that are really having a hard time, you know, I think we need to give specific resources for specific issues. And that's one of the things I haven't seen as much. I've seen general resources for mental health and well-being, general resources for stuff to do with your kids, you know, like kind of general. If so-and-so needs something specific, we need to be able to match that need. And so that's what we're working on in education right now for certain. But and I'm seeing so much good work from our schools throughout Santa Clarita Valley. And I've got to be honest, that data point I shared with you about 92% of the students being concerned about their environment and sound, that's LA Unified. Right. And so I'd be curious to survey our kids and to ask them how they're doing. You know, as a parent, I've received multiple surveys. How many surveys have we done in our community for our children and our teens? Yeah. You know, maybe they could tell us what they need, you know?
That's, Yeah, and you know what? We're dealing with a generation of kids that are more socially aware, they're more self-aware, and probably have a lot more agency than any other generation. They could probably articulate that better than any generation before them at this age. Renee, I want to take a quick break.
I agree with you, Matt, 100%.
I want to take a quick break. I know we're a little bit earlier, but I want to get into kind of the levels of learning, the academic learning, the social learning and growth, and the emotional growth that is or maybe isn't going on, and that's going to be a little bit longer conversation. So let's pay the bills really quick, and then we will come back and we'll talk about that. Renee Marshall has her finger on the pulse of education in Santa Clarita, closer than Meredith Gray on the pulse of a meth addict who's got a stop sign wedged in his skull at Seattle Grace. When we come back, we'll be asking her about that academic, social, and emotional growth of our kids. So stick around. You're listening to SCVI and iLead School's Eye on the Valley. I'm Matt Watson on your hometown station, KHTS.
No contract pest control. Did you hear that? Yes, Unipest has no contract, low impact, affordable, and environmentally and family friendly pest control options with orange oil or other family friendly products. Whether it's ants, spiders, gophers, termites, or bed bugs, Unipest Termite and Pest Control has an effective, eco-friendly option for you. Call Unipest today for a free orange oil inspection at 661-BUG-7575 or visit unipest.com.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, and when I invented My Pillow, I wanted to have everything you'd ever want in a pillow. You can adjust the patented fill to your exact individual needs. You can wash and dry My Pillow. It has a 10-year warranty not to go flat, and it's made in the USA. And now, for a limited time, you can get a queen-size premium My Pillow for the lowest price ever. Regularly $69.98, now only $29.98. That's a $40 savings. I'm also giving you deep discounts on all my MyPillow products, including my bed sheets, mattress toppers, and bath towels. Not only are you getting the lowest prices ever, but they make the best Christmas gifts ever. Buy now and I'll extend my 60-day money-back guarantee to March 1st, 2021.
Go to MyPillow.com and use the promo code KHTS or call 800-973-3927 and use the promo code KHTS. That's 800-973-3927 or go to MyPillow.com and use the promo code KHTS.
I'm Tamara Gurney, President and CEO of Mission Valley Bank, Santa Clarita Valley's local community business bank dedicated to supporting small businesses throughout our community. As a matter of fact, Mission Valley Bank made over 360 Paycheck Protection or PPP loans totaling over $72 million to local small businesses to help them navigate these challenging times. Our commitment to small businesses throughout our community will not waver as we look forward. On behalf of everyone at Mission Valley Bank, we're wishing you a happy holiday season.
Why did Mercedes-Benz of Valencia win the Dealer of Excellence Award in 2019?
Because we strive to provide the most outstanding sales experience.
Mercedes-Benz of Valencia COO Chris Paz.
We know you have high expectations. Our stellar team will meet and exceed your expectations. That's why we were named Mercedes Best of the Best, placing us in the top 10% of all Mercedes dealers nationwide.
Find out how you can lease a new Mercedes for unbelievably low monthly payments. Details at mbzvalencia.com.
When you look at your child, you see so much. A creative spirit that surprises you every day. A little leader growing to discover who they are, what they love, and how they can make the world better. At SCVI, we see those same amazing things. Our tuition-free TK-12 charter school provides boundless opportunities to think critically and imagine freely, with a learning program customized just for your child. Today, that means empowering your child to bring strengths and passions to the distance learning environment. Our approach keeps your child and family in step while online, inspiring your learner to keep growing without missing a beat. At SCVI, your child will find even more ways to grow with projects and activities in STEAM, robotics, theater, music, and sports. With the only international baccalaureate program in Santa Clarita, SCVI produces graduates who excel at top universities and in life. For enrollment information or to learn more about our distance learning program, visit ileadsantaclarita.org. iLead Schools. Free to think, inspired to lead.
98.1 FM and AM 1220, the community's choice.
Thank you, KHTS, for keeping me posted with the latest on COVID-19.
Welcome back. You're listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 AM. This is SCVI and iLead Schools Eye on the Valley. I'm your host, Matt Watson. And today we've got our show's official educational consultant, Renee Marshall, with us. She is the quintessential teacher's teacher. And before the break, we kind of opened it up a little bit, but I wanted to lay it out for you, Renee. So we've got kind of three things that kids really need school for, right? They're growing and they're learning and moving on towards their best life. And so now with distance learning, you know, we can all agree that it's not optimal for anyone, right? It's not working great for most parents. You mentioned it is working for some kids. A lot of teachers are struggling out there. But we're all concerned about our kids' growth. Parents are concerned about it, kids, administrators, teachers, we're all concerned about our kids' ability to learn and grow. So let's break that down into three different areas of growth: academic growth, social growth, emotional growth. Okay? So let's talk about how you see kids are doing in general and what families can do to help them grow. Everyone's worried about academics. You know, back in the spring, you and I were telling parents not to worry about it so much, that what was important was keeping kids emotionally supported and that was what was paramount. Don't worry about the academics for now. But you mentioned now we've shifted and we've gone into that intentional instruction. So as this thing drags on, we've got to address those academics. How do you think we're doing? Are kids learning at an acceptable pace, or are they falling behind?
You know, it's such an interesting concept, Matt, because it's kind of like, how do we look at this idea of falling behind? Mm-hmm. Is it falling behind if my test scores are a little bit lower in science this year? Or is it like, you know what I mean? Like, or is it falling behind because my child did 15 book reports last year and they only did 10 this year? Like, I mean, how do we perceive this falling behind? And I also look at it like, in terms of the academic growth, I think we need to kind of rephrase or maybe redefine what academic growth is. It's interesting because in the junior high and high school, there's been such a push for college and career readiness, which is really getting to like a life readiness. And so, you know, kids, by the time they're in junior high and high school, they can take culinary, they can take auto tech, they can take welding, they can take these pathways that are like life skills. Guess what? That's what some of our kids are getting to learn right now. You know what I mean? Like, and that's what we need to take advantage of. Like by all means, you have to keep your kids reading. So it doesn't matter what they're doing in school with reading. You need to make sure they are reading. Mm-hmm. As a parent, you need to make sure they're writing. You need to make sure they have some access to math. But if you look at all these we teach, you know this, but the amount of curriculum that educators are given is like impossible to do over the course of a year. I'll never forget when I started as a teacher in the Castaic district, and I had moved from Hollister, California, and I went and got my teacher's editions, and literally, Matt, it was like I had like 17 books, and I couldn't even carry them all at once. That's how much curriculum I got.
Right.
So I think we need to, and the great thing too for parents to know, if at any point you feel like your child is off, look on the California Department of Education website. They have the standards and the frameworks grade by grade and subject area by subject area. So you can literally go to the Department of Ed website, just click on standards or framework, and then it'll show you here's what your child should be learning. And so if you see a discrepancy, this is going to be the time where we might need to fill in a little bit. But I also want to throw it like slightly different. Maybe your child might not be completing 15 book reports, right? Maybe they're only doing 10. But let's look at the other things that they're learning. You know, is your child learning to cook? Are they now doing their laundry? Are they now loading dishes and unloading dishes during the work, like during their day? Are they starting to take on other family responsibilities that maybe they didn't before when they were at school at the time? That's a huge asset. So if for some reason you're feeling like your kids aren't learning everything academically, you want to have them reading, writing, and doing math. Let go of other stuff. But start reframing it too and thinking, well, what other life skills can my child learn? I've got to be totally honest. One of my kids asked for something. My twins are 14 years old right now. They're in 9th grade. And I was, as I mentioned, walking with one of my kids yesterday. First of all, going on a walk during the day. Stuff like that happens that used to never happen before, right?
Yep.
And then my son looked at me and he said, so, Mom, do you think during this Christmas break that maybe we can go to a parking lot and I could start to learn to drive? And I was like, oh, my gosh, what a life skill. That's a great – and I looked at him, I said, have you been watching closely enough the last couple of years, like you think you're ready to start figuring out what all the pedals and everything do? And he goes, Mom, I've been watching you for a very long time. He's like, and I thought, wow, okay, is it reading, writing, or math? No. But life skill, learning how to drive, learning how to operate a car. And so I think we need to kind of reframe what the growth is in terms of, you know, academic growth. We always perceive it as just books.
Yeah.
Academic growth is really life growth. You know, think about what assets your child is getting during this time. Maybe they can't communicate as well as before because there's not as many opportunities. So maybe they're doing things like writing letters. Mm-hmm. We're going back to things we haven't done before or we haven't done for a long time, and we're valuing them. Kids have pen pals. Kids are, you know, they're looking for different ways to communicate because, you know, as we get to the social and emotional learning, you know, the academics are important, but here's the thing. The entire United States is having a gap year. You know what I mean? Like, and not that it's a full gap year, but it's a weird year. Yeah. It's not like there's anybody who's getting this, you know, top-notch, nonstop, hardcore education right now. Everybody is in this remote environment or a blended environment, and we're all trying to figure it out still. So I think we need to look at well, another thing, too. I believe that everybody thinks that once we hit 2021, that somehow it's all going to go back to normal. Like we blame it on 2020.
Right, and at midnight on New Year's Eve, it's all going to switch. Yeah.
Well, and Y2K taught us that we cannot have those, right?
Yes. Oh, what a flashback. That is awesome. You know,
oh my gosh.
You bring up a really good
reframing.
point. You bring up a really good point, Renee. Kids are learning some of those really important life skills. And think about why, you know, if you're in the corporate world, why people get hired, why people get promoted, why people get raises. Oftentimes it's for those soft skills that really should be those hard skills. Things like flexibility, cooperation, problem solving, the ability to think on your feet. Boy, our kids are learning that this year better than ever. I just want to plug a couple of websites. One that you mentioned, the California Department of Ed website is cde.ca.gov. iLead Schools also has a resource website that we launched back in March to help families fill in and supplement. So when you do look at those state standards like Renee mentioned, you can also head over to homeschoolinganswers.com, lots of resources up there for you to help you fill in some of the gaps that you may be finding. So, but oftentimes, Renee, it's a question of our kids staying focused, right? My son's teacher, my daughter's teacher is doing a great job providing great content, but, you know, Zoom exhaustion is a thing. and it's hard to stay focused and interested. Do you have any tips for parents that are trying to help their kids stay focused and interested in what's going on?
Yes, one of the things that I'm doing is like totally not conventional, but I will tell you it's been working really well, Matt. For instance, I'm sure everybody remembers like fidgets. And of course, the first thing I think of with fidgets is that whole like spinny thing that used to happen. You remember? Okay. So fidgets got a really bad rap because of that stupid spinny thing. And so one of the things I want to share with everybody, and I want to suggest for even the holiday, is to consider getting fidgets for your child. Now, not those spinny kinds, but I'm putting a little set in the chat box right now that I found on Amazon. And it's basically like these fidgets. You can get these kits that have anti-anxiety tools that kids can use. And so, for instance, one of my children, every single day during their school day, they've got a little container of silly putty, and they touch it over and over and squeeze it. And it's not distracting them at all. While they're learning, it's doing the opposite. Their hands are keeping busy and their mind is staying focused. And so sensory toys and sensory fidgets are something that can be really, really helpful in terms of keeping kids engaged. Another thing, too, is we really need to make sure that our students are doing brain breaks. You know, it is very hard to be on Zoom back to back to back to back. So we need to make sure in order to stay focused that our children are stepping back, taking a break, hopefully going outside, getting some fresh air. We want to make sure that this is going to sound very easy and simple, but this is really an issue for kids sometimes. Make sure our kids are eating regularly. We want them to have breakfast. We want them to stop and have lunch. One of the things my family has been doing recently is during breakfast and dinner every day, we're also taking a minute to have everybody go around and reflect on something they're grateful for that happened that day. Because I think that gratitude is something we need to remind our kids about right now. And that goes back to their social and emotional health. You know what I mean? Like it's like, okay, things might not be great, but let's think we should all be able to find something we're still grateful for. And so helping kids to center, you know, whether it's a fidget, talking about gratefulness, but teaching them to center themselves will help them to be more engaged when they're in the virtual platform. And so, and also checking in. As parents, it's imperative for us to be checking in whenever we can. Sometimes I'll even be kind of silly, like I'll know my kids are in school, and I do this to my daughter all the time, but I'll know she's in class, and I know we're not supposed to do this, Matt. I know we're not supposed to. But
don't worry, I won't tell anybody.
I want to make sure she's engaged, you know? So I'll walk in the room, and I'll do like some like cheesy little dance and be like, Lily, what's happening?
You weren't on camera, were you, Renee?
Oh, only one.
Oh, come on. Oh, that's 2020 child abuse right there.
Seriously, I did not realize that. And for teens that are in 9th grade, oh my gosh.
Oh,
you should see when I tried to walk in the screen when they were in their dual enrollment class at College of the Canyons. Oh, no. But just having that minute to check in. Another thing, too, in terms of like this emotional health map, one of the things that I'm seeing in my own family more than ever, we say I love you all the time now. It's like, okay, guys, I'm going into a meeting. And then everybody goes, oh, I love you. Have a good day. And it's like we used to just say I love you maybe once a day. Now we probably say it, I don't know, maybe like 8 to 12 times a day. You know, so it's we really need to have that emotional connection as much as possible, you know, in this area with our kids. And how do we keep them focused? And it's all about the emotional regulation, you know, giving them fidgets, giving them strategies to help them to stay engaged, you know, taking a brain break, learning breathing strategies. You can even do like centering strategies like tapping, where a student will tap their face or tap their hand. It's really good to tap your, what are they called? Like the tips of your fingers because of like the receptive points, and it just kind of helps to ground them. So it's funny because engagement, you think they'd just be staring at the screen, but it's really what are they doing in order to make sure that their body can focus on the screen, you know, when they're learning.
Yeah, definitely. And you talked about how important that emotional connection is. And you know, it's important kids grow emotionally in school as well. Is there, you know, saying I love you and connecting with your kids and checking in on them is so important. Is there anything else that families should be doing to make sure that their kids continue to grow emotionally during this time?
I think, you know, the social and the emotional really go hand in hand. So I really feel like in terms of emotional growth, we need to be talking to our kids. And that's hard, especially if you're not a talker yourself, or finding ways that they can express themselves, whether it's a journal or, art or whatever. They need to have an outlet of expression. And then when it comes to it also for that, like social emotional growth, we also want to make sure that our kids have an opportunity to refill their vessel. You know what I mean? And so it's like it used to be like we would do play dates or things like that. Now we need to be intentional, and we need to say, okay, so who are you going to FaceTime today? Or who are you going to Zoom? Or who are you going to go into house party with? Or what's the plan? Something that my family's doing that I feel like we've gone back a couple years in a good way is my children are seeing social and emotional support through Minecraft, of all things right now, Matt.
Oh, wow.
Like they're 14. They haven't been into Minecraft for a couple years, but all of a sudden, guess what? Them and their friends can meet up. They literally have social meetups on Minecraft as high school kids where they're constructing and building, and they're talking about, these two people are making the flower shop, and they're talking about it like it's real. So here's the thing. It is a real social connection for them.
Yeah.
So you just got to go with it. We used to have all these technology rules about when you can and can't do technology. Now I'm like, oh, you're going to hang out with a friend. It's going to be online. You do it anytime you want.
Right.
If your friend's available and it's whatever day, whatever time, you need to be on it, because we now need to prioritize our child's social and emotional development and making sure that every single week they're having something with other kids. And in the space, it could be that you drop something off at a friend's house, or one of the things we were doing at the start of the pandemic is playing games through Zoom like Battleship. And so we drop half of it off at somebody's house, half of it off at the others. We've done loteria, we've done bingo, I actually just bought a Christmas bingo kit, and my two kids want to play it with their two friends. And so we've put together this little stocking with all these supplies related to the bingo kit, and we're dropping it off this weekend with an invitation to everybody play next week.
Nice. That is awesome. Renee Marshall is here. It's not Plan A. Right. And speaking of which, we got to talk about a couple of Plan B, C, or Ds. Renee Marshall is here. She's got her educational Doppler up, and she's scanning the valley for what's what with students, teachers, and schools. Renee, when we come back, I want to ask you about how we can support two specific and very different groups. One is kids that don't have necessarily access to all the different tools that they need in order to get that virtual education. And another is new teachers that are coming up in their career during this time. We do have to take a quick commercial break, but we'll be right back, and I want to ask you about those two groups. You are on SCVI and iLead Schools Eye on the Valley, and I'm Matt Watson on your hometown station, KHTS.
Santa Clarita Valley residents now have greater access to the excellent physicians and high-quality medical services for which Providence Holy Cross is known. Providence Holy Cross Health Center in Santa Clarita features state-of-the-art cancer and imaging technologies, as well as board-certified physicians in a variety of medical specialties. Quality and compassion from a healthcare provider you can depend on. For more information, call 1-888-HEALING or visit us at providence.org.
Welcome to Duncan. There are 2 Duncan locations in the SCV. Both locations have outdoor seating, carry-out service, and delivery with Postmates, Grubhub, and Uber Eats. Use the Duncan app to order and accumulate points. The Canyon Country location on Sierra Highway near Via Princesa has drive-through service and is open till 7 p.m. The Bouquet Canyon location just off New Hall Ranch Road has curbside service and is now open till 7 p.m. The Santa Clarita Valley runs on Duncan.
When you look at your child, you see so much. A creative spirit that surprises you every day. A little leader growing to discover who they are, what they love, and how they can make the world better. At SCVI, we see those same amazing things. Our tuition-free TK through 12 charter school provides boundless opportunities to think critically and imagine freely, with a learning program customized just for your child. Today, that means empowering your child to bring strengths and passions to the distance learning environment. Our approach keeps your child and family in step while online, inspiring your learner to keep growing without missing a beat. At SCVI, your child will find even more ways to grow with projects and activities in STEAM, robotics, theater, music, and sports. With the only international baccalaureate program in Santa Clarita, SCVI produces graduates who excel at top universities and in life. For enrollment information or to learn more about our distance learning program, visit iLeadSantaClarita.org. iLead Schools. Free to think, inspired to lead.
Hi, I'm Steve Cruz, and my wife and I own the local pub and grill. With 19 70-inch TVs, it's the best place in the valley to catch a game. We have a vast selection of beer, wine, and specialty cocktails to choose from, including our charity ale, where 10% of every pint we sell goes to Carousel Ranch. Our menu features classics with a flavorful twist. Come by for Taco Trivia Tuesdays at 7, Wines Day for bingo and karaoke starting at 8 p.m., and karaoke every Saturday at 9. Local Pub and Grill, right next to Bevmo on the Old Road. Support local, support community.
When you hire a CPA firm or tax preparer, you want a firm with people who understand you, your business and industry, and participates in your local community. You need a firm that has long-standing, successful professional relationships around Southern California with attorneys, bankers, and other CPA firms who can provide additional help to your personal and business needs. Denny & Company, LLP. CPAs that make life less taxing. Call 286-8860, 286-8860.
Thank you, KHTS, for keeping me posted with the latest on COVID-19.
It's what we do. 98.1 FM and AM 1220.
Welcome back. You're listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 on the AM side. I am Matt Watson, and you're listening to SCVI and iLead School's Eye on the Valley. Educational expert and consultant Renee Marshall joins us today. And Renee, I mentioned before the break, there's a couple of groups of people that really need our support during this time that I want to talk about. First off, listener Paul in the chat was asking and brings up a really important topic. As a matter of fact, I think listener Paul is a colleague of yours on that top 140 under 40 over the last decade. But Paul is asking specifically about the city of Santa Clarita and the schools in our city. How are the schools in our city partnering to close the equity gaps that have been exacerbated by COVID, right? Because, you know, if you don't have internet or a computer at home, that's okay. You can access that and have access to all that stuff when you get to school. But if you're not going to school campus right now, you know, that becomes extremely problematic. So how are our schools in the city closing those gaps, Renee?
We're so lucky, Matt, in that we have 5 districts that work together. And that's not always the case. There's a lot of education systems that don't work as well as ours do. And so, you know, our leadership from all 5 campuses has literally been meeting since the moment the pandemic started. And they've been brainstorming and actively finding ways to address the equity gap. I think about over in the Sulphur Springs district, they were literally driving around, dropping off hotspots to families that needed them. You know, it was really like almost like a grassroots effort in Santa Clarita. We looked for the gaps, and instantly within each district, we were trying to fill them as quickly as possible. If you look at, you know, the gap on a larger spectrum outside of Santa Clarita, you know, we have some like more isolated concerns in Santa Clarita, but you look across the state and there's much, much larger concerns in terms of closing the gap. One of the things, and you can, if you're interested in learning more about that, closing the gap in terms of equity at the statewide level, Department of Education has had many webinars about this, and they're constantly having discussions about it. But, you know, one of the things we also have in Santa Clarita right now is we've got the SCV Human Relations Roundtable that is just kind of started back again. And this is going to be an equity-minded group where when we have concerns about equity in the town, we're going to be able to address them, you know, quickly and efficiently and in the way to best serve everybody in Santa Clarita. So while we do know there are some equity gaps, we're lucky in our town that we have, you know, we've had some really good success in terms of closing some of those gaps. But we also have, you know, other methods where we are actively looking for ways to make education better. I think about the city of Santa Clarita, and I can't even tell you how many times they have put out saying, what's your bandwidth like? What's Wi-Fi like for you?
Yeah.
They're doing this constant technology survey to see are people getting what they need. And that's from our city. That's not even coming from our education entities in town. So I do believe everybody's working together to fill the gap or close the gap in Santa Clarita. If you look outside of Santa Clarita, the gap is much more concerning. So we are very, very lucky in our town. Plus, I mean, all the educators here, they hustle. Like if there's a child who has a need, they're going to fill it. And so I feel very lucky that we live in a place where we know every single child that's in our education system. You know what I mean? It's like there isn't masses so much that we can't know everybody and whatnot. So, but we're definitely still a work in progress, and I'm looking forward to the Human Relations Roundtable making some impact in this area.
Yeah, definitely. Very important. And as I said, there's another group that, gosh, really needs our support at this time, because I can't imagine, Renee, coming into education during this time. I remember my early days as a teacher, and man, did I struggle my first couple of years as a teacher. I can't imagine what it's like to have 2020, 2021 be your first year teaching. You're working with a program that's supporting new teachers and aspiring teachers. Can you tell us a little bit about that program?
Absolutely. I'm actually working with 3 community colleges in the Los Angeles region, Cerritos College, El Camino College, and Rio Hondo College. And we're collaborating with a group out of Boston called the Center for Collaborative Education. And they received a federal grant, and it's basic. And the title of the grant is Community Partnerships for Teacher Pipeline. And the idea is we want to really grow our own teachers throughout the Los Angeles region to make sure that the teachers that are teaching the kids match the kids who are in the classroom. We want to really make sure that, and so this is a great opportunity, because right now we are just kicking off this program, and it's a multi-year program where we are going to be actively looking for teacher mentors that want to be working with those future teachers. And so in the chat, I actually put up my email, education@reneemarshall.com. If there's any teachers in Santa Clarita Valley who would be interested in mentoring virtually some students in the Los Angeles region, some future teachers in the Los Angeles region, please reach out to me, because this is it's a 3-year grant that we're actually hoping that we can gain an additional 2 years of funding. So potentially for a 5-year grant, where these brand new teachers or these brand new future teachers, they will get to work with a qualified mentor for 2 full years, and they actually get paid for every hour that they're working with their mentor, and the mentors get paid for working with the students.
Oh, great.
So it's really a win-win. It's not just a program that's going to encompass, many of the best practices of mentoring future teachers, but both the mentors and the mentees will be paid for their time, and they'll get that wraparound support. And as you know, Matt, we want our teachers to thrive. And so the more support we can give them throughout their journey as becoming a teacher, the better off they will be.
Absolutely. Mentoring teachers is so important. I don't know what I would have done without my mentor teacher those first couple of years. Renee, we're so grateful for your time. We got to talk to you soon. We need to check back in with you real soon. Please enjoy the holiday. I want to thank my guests this week from the Santa Clarita Valley International Program, Tess Simgen and Elena Galvez, my boy Big T, and Renee Marshall. And thank you for joining us. Join us again next Friday and every Friday, 8 to 10 a.m. I am Matt Watson on SCVI, and I lead Schools Eye on the Valley on your hometown station, KHTS.